Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
And Stephen.
Hello.
How you doing, guys? I'm missing yous.
I know, it's been ages.
I know.
It has been actually.
In a couple of weeks.
I've not even bumped into you in the street, Gav.
No, I'm just really warm.
Yeah, your face is a wee bit pink. You look like just a standard ginger that's been out in the April sun.
I mean,
12 degrees beating down on you.
I went outside for about.
For
I went outside for about 40 seconds today, so it could be that.
Right, it could be.
So how are you guys getting on?
Good.
Missing the hairdressers, like.
You're getting quite Beatles-esque on the top there, Stephen.
I know. I actually had to blow dry it and straighten it today.
You should keep growing your fringe so it just comes down right out of your whole face. You'd look better.
Cheers, mate. Just pull it to the sides like curtains.
So what about yourself, Dave? How are you getting on? What were you up to recently?
I've just been trying to keep active, painting, playing Call of Duty, going out runs, just that type of thing.
Everyone's going to have tremendous houses come the end of this. Everyone's going to have all the rooms painted and done up and stuff. Because
to be fair, I've run out of paint, but I've seen that obviously that it's non-essential to travel for paint. So I've now not got any paint to go and do that way. So having to
get yourself a Hilco, mate, and get a roll of toilet roll as well.
I suppose if I'm needing something, I'll grab some if I'm in a place where it's going out, but I'm not just going out just for paint.
You'll need to be tactical when you're going to get something else, get as well.
Yeah.
So, So, obviously, we're going to have a chat about everything that's been going on in Scottish football recently, the whole fiasco that's been going on. Obviously,
has it been a fiasco though? Do you think it's been comedy? It's been brilliant.
Has it been a well-drilled, oiled machine? No.
For me,
spoilers.
Yes.
It couldn't have worked any better, to be fair.
Could not have worked better.
And we'll also have a chat about Dundeegate and all the stuff that happened with that off the back of that, and then have a chat about league reconstruction and what we think would be the best options going forward. Not that our opinions matter, but we're going to have a chat anyway. So, let's just get on with the whole decision to end the season on average points. Dave, start with yourself. I mean, ignoring Hearts' situation for a second and what that would potentially mean for them, would you have voted for this, for the league to end on average points?
Yes. I would have voted for this vote purely because it's on the basis that we're still planning to finish the season if possible.
Right. Stephen, what about yourself?
I agree with what Dave said. I think obviously with the vote and everything now, it's pretty much written off the season. It's just if you're already talking about league reconstruction and that this season, that's it, finished for me. I
mean, it's quite a difficult one because there seemed like there was a lot of clubs in a difficult position morally. I heard the Inverness chairman talking a bit, and he was sort of saying, on one hand, we could get £330,000, I think it was, next week if we voted yes for this, but at the same time, we don't feel that we should be relegating Partick Thistle and Hearts. So it was quite a difficult one, I can imagine, for clubs to kind of go through. But obviously, Dundee voted no. The vote wasn't received. So rather than resubmitting the same vote, which they'd already filled out, they decided you don't have to do it for 28 days, so we'll hold off. And then in the next week, after two meaningless statements that both said absolutely nothing, they changed their mind and voted yes. So, Stephen, starting with yourself, what's your kind of thoughts on Dundee after all this?
I think they're fantastic. Never ever had a problem with Dundee. Like them even more now.
Dave, what about yourself?
Can I disagree with Stephen, unfortunately? I'm thinking about I've got a big space up the top of my arm here. Big Dundee badge. What do you think?
I would agree with that.
Right? I hurt myself there when I slapped myself because I slapped passionately. But it's funny. It's funny if you've got mates that are Hearts fans, which I do, and then obviously I've got mates that are Rangers fans. It's all I've got. Absolutely raging, and I'm just sitting there like Yeah.
So what about the SFA? Dave, start with yourself. How did the SFA look after all this? After the deadline's 5, but wait, now suddenly there's 28 days later, and then they didn't rush Dundee. I don't know. It just seemed like a bit of a fiasco.
I think, to be honest with you, right, I think probably the biggest mistake that the SFA did was release the results before Dundee's vote came in. I don't have a problem with the whole 5 o'clock deadline because that was set as if we meet this deadline, you'll get the money. We'll be able to pay out money quicker. I think it was the clubs would have been very well aware that they had the 28 days, but it was that kind of gentleman's agreement. If we sort this earlier, we'll all get paid. Dundee, for me, have played a blinder, the other way about it, because they probably have genuinely tried to submit their vote, and then when something's went wrong, they've seen the opportunity and grabbed it. I don't think that's SFA's fault. I think, to be honest with you, a lot of people should be looking at Dundee. They're rolling it and being like, it maybe is a bit distasteful, but they're just looking after themselves just as much as Rangers are trying to look after themselves by trying not to get the league handed to Celtic by all their fans wanting the league voided. And then you've got Hearts obviously trying to look after themselves. Everybody's in it for themselves. I've no doubt about that. So I don't think the SFA done that much bad apart from releasing the results early.
Yeah. I mean, Stephen, I've no kind of jokingly said we all love Dundee, but how did I think, going off the back of what Dave said there about the SFA and stuff, how do you think Dundee look after this after sort of voting one way and then they've had more conversations and had their mind changed?
I think, to be fair, obviously they've, like Dave says, they've played a blinder in delaying it, but the fact is that they'd done what any other club that voted could have done. They waited to see what everybody else was voting. Obviously, the SFA mucked up by releasing the results, and then obviously it left Dundee in a position where they could vote either way to close the deal. I can't see why Dundee wouldn't vote yes in the first place, because obviously I don't think they would have got promoted come the end of the season. I think that they've voted on a structure. They've made the statement where they says that they would only vote yes based on league reconstruction being a topic, and obviously that's the case now. They're part of that as well. John Nelms is part of the list of folk that are involved in it. So I think they're trying to appease everybody, but they've done it well. They've done what any other club should have done.
So see just on that, the whole vote thing, and then them changing their mind. The SFA never received that vote, so Dundee's vote was never submitted. So see that whole uproar that they said they were voting yes in a WhatsApp group. That's like me saying to my mates, I'm voting Labour, and then in a WhatsApp group, but when I go down to the polling station, when I actually go to officially give my vote, I change to SNP. And then they've been like, no, you in the WhatsApp group you said Labour.
Genuinely thought you were going to say Tory there.
Nah, but you know what I mean.
No, even for analogies, you go to that.
That's what I think, though.
Yeah.
You can't hold up a WhatsApp group and go, I bet he said in the WhatsApp group. And
the difference is, though, like you're saying about the SNP and vote Labour, but they'd actually filled out the form, signed it, and crossed no. They'd actually filled out the voting form.
Right, so say I fill in the voting form in the station, but I didn't put it in that ballot box. What happens?
But it's more like they put in the ballot box and then it got spat back out. And then they're like, right, okay, well, rather than just putting it back in, let's see if we can get an advantage from this.
Yes.
Jing Petrie was counting the votes or something. He's just like, nah.
They've seen an opportunity and they've took it.
I guess fair play though.
Simple as that.
So we can't celebrate. So I mean, that's just Stephen. You mentioned it there. So let's get into the league reconstruction chat. We can't celebrate Hearts being down because Anne Budge is overseeing the league reconstruction task force. So we got an email here from Mark. If you want to email us anything, hibstalkpodcast@gmail.com, just like Mark did. So a couple of questions from Mark here. So the first one, do you think it's fair that a team on the brink of relegation can be saved by league reconstruction set up by the owner of that club. Doesn't seem like a massive conflict of. Doesn't this seem like a massive conflict of interest? And do you think there is a fairer way to determine the outcome of the league and who will be in it next season? So, I mean, why is Anne Budge overseeing this when she's got the most to gain and the most to lose?
To appease everybody, like, she needs to be seen at the forefront to appease Hearts fans. She was the one that made this big statement. I never saw that there was anybody from Rangers in the list. But the thing is, obviously, like, it's got to be even better when the league reconstruction gets voted against and Anne Budge is at the head of it.
Well,
just because she's heading a task force doesn't mean that it's automatically got to get approved, because obviously it still needs to go to a vote 11-1.
Right.
And you already noticed that she's co-heading it with the boy from Hamilton, and they voted yes.
Dave, what did you say? What did you make of Anne Budge being heading this up? What's your kind of thoughts on that?
That's we all laughed in the WhatsApp group. We were like, no way. That's a parody account that's put that out. I think it was you, Gav, that had said that.
Aye.
Like, that's a Barry Anderson fake account, because it was him that said it first. So it is unbelievable. But all my Rangers and Hearts mates are going on about corruption before the Anne Budge things. And ironically, I don't think there is any corruption. But when you look at it, and I said that to them after it, that's probably the biggest corrupt thing about it. Like, the person that was going to take the SFA or the SPFL rather to the coach for relegating Hearts is then all of a sudden not taking it with the coach and is in charge of the reconstruction task force. It's almost been like, right, then he take us to court. You can be in charge of this task force to please her, quiet her down, and then if it doesn't go her way, the SPFL can be like, we gave you a chance. That's what I think.
Aye. So, I mean, on Hearts then, I mean, I know we kind of joke about wanting them down, but realistically, I mean, yes, it'd be funny to see them relegated, but do you want to see Hearts go down?
Yeah,
100%.
So, I mean, I've got three sort of points here. You've got the derbies, you've got the rivalry, kind of, try to finish above them and stuff, mind the gap, all that sort of stuff. And then the financial benefits as well of derbies. So, I mean, I would say that, when we win at Tynecastle, that's the best day of the season. But
when we get beat twice at home, though, it's the worst days of the season.
That's the risk you got to take. So, I mean, surely there's a lot of benefits to having Hearts in the league, from a Hibs point of view.
Yeah, I can see what you're doing. You're playing devil's advocate, and I didn't mind that. But you've got to remember, that as a fan, I don't really care if Hibs don't get two big attendances for Hearts throughout the course of the season, because that money doesn't come to me. And to be perfectly honest, we have very rarely see it getting spent on the pitch either. So I don't care. What I gain out of Hearts going down is banter for a whole year against my Hearts mates. That's what football is all about. And obviously, if they stay up, we get the banter on the bit of the rivalry and that. But I truly, honestly believe that they deserve punished for being as shite as they have been. And I think they should, for being so bad for years, having bad transfer windows, having all the problems that they've had with managers and that, and the way the Budge has ran the place, I think they deserve it. I don't think they deserve to skip put it.
You can the best way to end this argument, right? Last time that Hearts were in a different league from us, we won the Scottish Cup.
That's one way to look at it.
I want the league to finish though on the park. I honestly do. Yeah. I've said that from the start, and I hope it does somehow. I don't know how. And Hearts go down naturally, and it'll be hilarious. Let's see if they go down this way. So be it.
So again, continuing on the email from Mark here, he sort of made the point about obviously the fact that Hearts are bottom, and he sort of said, how is it fair to that Celtic may be awarded the title, but the likes of Partick Thistle and Stranraer are being relegated from their respective leagues when Hearts may be saved due to league reconstruction? if Celtic are awarded the title and those other teams are relegated, then why should Hearts as a club not deserve their spot in relegation, and the likes of Inverness and Dundee should get replace them in any sort of reconstructed league?
Because Partick Thistle and Stranraer won't be relegated if there's a league reconstruction, because they'll need to keep the other numbers up in the leagues.
Yeah,
If they're putting two up to the Premier League without any teams being relegated, then they're going to need to keep Partick in the Championship, Stranraer in League One.
But I mean, getting away from Partick, then is there not an argument to say that Hearts should be relegated and the teams that were in the playoff places should be the teams to come up?
But then you've got Hamilton are in a playoff place in the Premier League.
Yeah, aye, that's a good point. Obviously, that gets you to a weird number of 15, which is difficult to kind of do a league with.
Exactly.
You've kind of got to draw the line somewhere, but if you're awarding winners, you should be punishing losers. Bottom of the league should not be getting a reward off the back of this. To be fair, the whole situation's mucked up. It's never happened before. So I can understand why Hearts fans are aggrieved, to be fair.
But I mean, getting away from Hearts now. So this is just a yes or no from the two of you, and then we'll expand on it more. So 2 questions. Yes, one's a number and one's yes or no. So Dave, do you getting away from whether this saves Hearts or whatever? Do you want a bigger league?
Yes.
Stephen?
No.
And how many teams would you have, Dave? Stephen, so I know, so he's no.
16.
16, right? Okay, I like the 18 personally, or even 20, but aye. So Dave, why 16 teams?
Oh, you're going to make me do the math, right? You play everyone home and away, and then you split the league, and then you play everyone in your half, and then I think that works out 36 games, 37. I can't remember. What, do the math?
37 and a half.
So you're playing everybody. So the 8 teams at 16 games. No. So sorry, no,
50.
that's really bad. 50, so 30 games, and then the split, and then you're playing the 17, so 37 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is one off now, and then you don't have the whole thing of the split. But I mean,
Rangers and Celtic still get their 3 games, even though that's corruption in itself. The fact that they would bend their backwards so they get 3 games, and Sky get Old Firm games, and the fact that we pander to the Old Firm as much is embarrassing. But that's where the money comes in.
But they're getting 4 at the moment.
Yeah, I know, but
in the league alone.
I know.
And Stephen, is that going to be one of the biggest obstacles for any sort of league reconstruction? Is the likes of the Old Firm games having the 4 of them guaranteed, and then the likes of the smaller teams who kind of rely on that gate revenue a lot more, getting the maximum amount of games against Celtic and Rangers?
I don't understand, right? Like, if there's this thing in the contract with Sky Sports getting 4 games, like 4 Old Firm games, what happens if Rangers get relegated for the league during the sponsorship? It's not expected to happen, but what happens if it did happen?
What happened a few?
I think that'll just be down to the fact that would never, ever happen unless, obviously, they were spending money they've not got trying to stop 10. But if we can cross our fingers, that might actually happen. But
so, I mean, Stephen, you kind of said your opinion. You don't think a vote would go through. Do you think that's what, like to say, take a St Mirren? They at the moment they get a guaranteed 3 games against Celtic and 3 games against Hearts, 3 games against Hibs, 3 games, and they're big gates for them. If they manage to somehow do a miracle of a top 6, say like Livingston have this season, then you've got that potential extra game. So is that going to be the difficult thing for this vote getting passed for teams like St Mirren that are going to potentially lose on that if there's more teams with smaller gates in the league?
I think obviously, I wouldn't say that Hearts it would make much of a difference with Hearts, because obviously if they're getting Hearts are on a losing streak, they didn't turn up at the gates anyway.
I mean, there's still, but they say that, but then the gates from Hearts away. So say St Mirren, for example, the amount say they get 800 Hearts fans. That's still 4 times anybody else than out the top side, the usual top 6 contenders.
I don't know. It's one of these what if things, eh? You can't really predict it until it happens. I don't think they were that bothered about the season where they lost Hearts, Hibs, and Rangers were all in the Championship one season, remember? And then the season after that, there was still Rangers and Hibs in the Championship.
Aye. No, that's a good point. I mean, like say that we were down for. I mean, Rangers were out the top league for 4 years. We were out for 3 seasons. I know these clubs survived then without that sort of ticket money.
Just remember though, like when Hearts got promoted the first time asking, and then they turned round and we were top of the league for the majority of the second season, and then they talked about league reconstruction. Then they says if Rangers don't get relegated, if Rangers don't get promoted this season, then we're going to introduce a 16-team league. But that never happened when Rangers got promoted, and we never got promoted. And then it just all disappeared. All the talk of a 16-team league disappeared until Hearts are now getting relegated.
Dave, do you think the fact, like, say, Hearts, their sort of big attendances could help have teams vote for them to try and keep them in the league? When you've got the likes of Dundee United, Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs, there's a lot of big gates there for smaller teams.
Yeah, possibly. People will vote for what suits them best. So it's just whether, like, splitting the Sky money 14 ways rather than 12 ways, whether that is a bigger deciding factor over Hearts going down. But Dundee United have got an alright support as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
So it's maybe no as big a loss, but I just think whatever reconstruction happens, it needs to be permanent. I don't like the idea of it being temporary for a season or 2 seasons and then it reverting back to the way it is now. Because then for me, it's all getting done just to save Hearts.
Aye, which is
wrong.
So, I mean, if it is to happen, the setup that seems most likely, and there's a lot of chat around, is 14 teams. So you'd have 26 games home and away, then a split. So then you'd play the other teams, so a 7-team split. So then the other 6 teams, you'd play home and away twice. So you play them. I'm making a mess of this. You play them home and away. That's what I was trying to say. But then, like I say, would the small, we've kind of covered this point, but would the smaller teams give up that one game guaranteed against each of the old firm?
Is that how they're working it? Is that what they said?
That's been one of the main sort of talking points. Is
because if you
14 teams and then you're playing home and away, and then there's a split, and then you play your half home and away. So then you're.
It would have made more sense to me just to play every team 3 times, like play the game 3 games against each team. Because that way you're playing 39.
You can't play a split with 7 because then there's a team sitting out every week, which would be an absolute laughing stock. You can't have a free week.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a split of a 6 and an 8, or an 8 and a 6. Do you know what I mean?
I guess that's a good point. Aye. So I mean, but then surely then if you're doing 8 and a 6, then people are playing different amounts of games.
Yeah. So I mean, I would have 16, but all the chat is 14. So it's just how they would then work that around. I do honestly believe this, and I'm even just saying that it will all depend. The whole reconstruction thing will depend on how many Rangers Celtic games there is.
Because I mean, Stephen, you mentioned the 13 teams playing, and then they play. Everybody plays each other 3 times. There's one of those old firms games gone, so I can't see that getting voted for.
It's not even just that. It's like, how do you decide? So, do we would play Hearts twice at Easter Road or once away? Like, how's that fair?
Yeah. Aye. So yeah. So I think there's going to be a split no matter what.
Hamilton or St Mirren might have tougher fixtures because they might have to go to Parkhead twice, and but they've got a better record at Ibrox, so they'd rather go to Ibrox. I don't know. It's just a way to look at it, that it's no a level playing field because you're not playing the same.
To be fair, I'd rather go to Tynecastle twice and play them at Easter Road once, but.
Going on this season. I mean, have you guys seen any other sort of mentions, any sort of ideas, propositioned for league reconstruction that have went, here, that's quite a good idea?
No.
I was hoping you were going to expand on that so I could look something up, but
See if they come up with something though that is good. I genuinely would. I'll take my green glasses off, be like, right, Ken, it'd actually maybe be alright to go with that idea. But the ideas that are all getting pandered about the now, then nah.
Stephen?
Nah, I says I didn't want league reconstruction in the first place. I think that 12, it's the way it's been settled. It's been that for long enough and it's worked. Obviously, I don't want to see Hearts stay up anyway. I think they deserve to go down. So
my papa, who's obviously a reason I'm a Hibs fan, he thinks the whole thing's an embarrassment, right? But he says, and he never thought he would say this in his life, that he feels sorry for Hearts, which is mental, because he would hate Hibs to be in this situation and no, obviously, get the right to finish the league. But I mean, I've tried to talk him down and be like, right, I get where you're coming from, because I get where Hearts fans are coming from. That's the important thing. But at the same time, you've got to understand that if you've been that bad throughout the whole season, then there maybe is an element. And I've seen a few Hearts fans say it, that there isn't an element of, oh, they might go down. Joe Sked said it on that podcast you were on, Stephen, the Motherwell podcast. He admitted that Hearts, if anybody deserved to go down, it would be Hearts, but it would still leave us a taste in the mouth. And I get that. Of course it would.
yeah, I get it as well. And I think the fact obviously is though that I mean, obviously, if the shoe was on the other foot, like how many Hearts fans would be coming out and saying, "Oh, we want Hibs to stay up"?
Exactly. This is where the rivalry thing comes into it, and the fan banter and all that. At the end of the day, what's the point of me? I'm as well going to laugh about it with my Hearts mates and that, because my opinions are going to matter. So I'm not going to get myself all worked up and uptight about something that I can't affect. So that's how I'll laugh at the SPFL's situation and that, because what else am I meant to do?
We had a couple of questions on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. So Jamie Montgomery had asked, how do you feel about Dempster being in the reconstruction group now that she's sort of been added it? Dempster still heading up, but Leanne now involved.
I'm all right with it if it is. Well, she's just going in to see what's happening. Like if I get invited into it now, I would go. I would be like, right, I'll sit around the table, because then I would actually get to see what they're talking about and what they're proposing. And for me, I would rather she was there and then maybe sticking up for Hibs' interests rather than a proposal getting put out that we don't agree on. So I'm all right with it.
So Dave Thompson's asked, Partick have been the true victims here. Hearts have been awful. They should take their own medicine and get on with it. We don't need reconstruction. They've overspent for a decade. How should a club under such financial pressure have stayed so mismanaged? So, I mean, what's your kind of thoughts, Stephen, on Partick? They had the game in hand, and if they'd won it, they would be off bottom. Is that a bit unfair on Partick, this whole situation at the moment?
Yeah, I would say so. I think obviously it's one of these things. Like I mean, you'd probably say the same for Hearts if they had like 2 games in hand and they were and they had 4 points. Like, but the thing is, like, who's to say that they would have won that game in hand? It's all like you can't just say, oh, if this. Kind of what they should do, they should play that game behind closed doors. Wait until it all starts kicking off. Play the one game behind closed doors, and then if they win that, put them up, keep them up.
That game doesn't matter though, because they're doing points per game.
Well, that's
aye.
Would it make much of a difference?
An average point, so they've not actually suffered a detriment to playing less games. Obviously, they might have won, they might have lost, and it might have made a difference to the points per game. But on an average, they've took your season average, so.
Because I saw they done that thing like on BBC Sport. They done it with the Premier League, like the bottom 3 in the Premier League, and 3 of the 4 ways they done it. I think they done it with goal difference, with points per game, and I think it was like just wins against draws and losses. And 2 out of the 3 ways, it was still the same 3 bottom teams.
Yeah.
And I think it was only like there was one way that like West Ham dropped from like 16th to the bottom 3, and Bournemouth had stayed up or something, but the other 2 teams were still the same. So I think the majority of the ways that you work it, Hearts will still be bottom, Partick will still be bottom.
Aye. So the next question's from Andy here. We had a question there from Ross about Sky Sports and the 4 Old Firm games. We've covered that. Andy's asking, how can we let Anne Budge dictate what path the league takes? She's never been in football until Hearts imploded. All of a sudden, she's a trailblazer for Reconstruction. Good point from Andy there. Any kind of comments on that?
Say it again.
So she's never been involved in football, and now she's a trailblazer for league reconstruction. She's dictating what happens to football.
Well, this is what I said. This is the bit that doesn't make any sense. And she was taking a lawsuit against the SPFL, and then all of a sudden she's leading one of the setting up a proposal, which just stinks. I don't agree with that at all, and shouldn't be that way.
Aye. So I'm a bit fanciful. So getting away from the whole Old Firm games and what would be good for money and blah blah blah. So just getting at from a fan's point of view, right? So I'm just having a look at the championship here. So obviously there's 12 teams in the league at the moment. So say you were to add in Dundee United, Inverness, Dundee, Ayr United, Dunfermline, Arbroath, Morton, and Alloa. Get it to a 20-team league. Play everybody home and away. The derbies are much more meaningful. You've got so much more away days. Every away day is different because you're only doing it once a year. Your home games are much more meaningful because you're only playing that team at home once. From a fan's point of view, would a 20-team league playing everybody home and away once be absolutely brilliant?
You'd have 2 leagues, and that's it. Premier League and a Championship.
Brilliant. Great.
To be fair, and this again, stealing this from my papa, he said that a bigger league would help bleed more young players in because clubs lower down and would be able to take maybe a risk with young players and be like, right, because there's less chance of them getting relegated.
Mm-hmm.
But also what it would do is it would mean that Rangers would have to go to Ayr United that once, and Ayr would probably try their socks at that game. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
The more likely for the gap between the Old Firm to be a lot smaller because everybody would up their game against the Old Firm that they're only getting to play that once at home. So maybe it would make for more a competitive league.
Aye, I think so. And I think like Hibs, if we're playing somebody that, are going to be a lot lower than us, you're going to see more game time for the likes of the Fraser Murrays, even players that have been in the past that didn't get the game time and they needed at Hibs. There would be more opportunities for them to get more game time. So,
I'd completely agree with it if there was more money in Scottish football, but that's where the problem lies, because when you go down the leagues and that, if you increase it to 20, you're only being able to take 300 fans to Alloa.
Aye.
Or if 2 teams get promoted for the second tier up, they've got to be even less. You've got to have Brecon and Arbroath or something. I obviously see the logic in it, but there's got to need to be a lot more financial investment into Scottish football for that to happen.
So we're going to I'm just noticing we've got the time remaining 5 minutes. Well, it's under 5 minutes now, so we're going to start to wrap it up. So what you guys got planned for this week?
Just getting on with it, mate. Probably to keep going out runs. Done 4 5Ks in the last 5 days. So
aye, wow.
Just get out and get a podcast on my ear and just run.
I'm guessing you'd struggle if we went to the likes of Spain and stuff in Italy with a more stricter lockdown where you're not even allowed out to exercise.
Aye, probably. But to be fair, I don't need to go out and run. It's just a 25 minute run. So just.
He's only doing shuttle runs along his street.
What about yourself, Stephen? I know you're busy with work, and obviously you've got the kids. I mean, that must be quite chaotic now. I can't imagine how shite it would be having kids in the house at the moment.
Have you not heard them now? They've been screaming all the way through this.
But you've only picked them up, so that's good.
So it's my week with them finishes tomorrow.
Has it been a long week?
Oh, mate, honestly. And then next week I'm working 6 days, 12-hour shifts on a Saturday. I'm honestly done.
See you grafting. Said this to you already. It's nice to see you working for a change.
Well, it's about time, I suppose. I'm just playing catch up now.
I was listening to another podcast and they said if you're having a tough time with this and you don't have kids, speak to somebody that does have kids and you'll feel a lot more better about this whole situation.
Honestly, mate, like I've offered so many folk at work to take one of them.
Yeah.
Just to give me a break. Like.
Right, so we'll finish up there, folks. Thanks, guys, for coming on this week and having a chat about Reconstruction. Let us know your thoughts on what should be the League's reconstruction plan should be on Twitter at HFC Talk. Keep an eye out on YouTube this week. We've got a video coming up about 10 sort of goals and stuff, so that will be going up during the week. And next week, I will be joined by, these guys won't be here, it'll be another couple of guys as we do a draft, which is kind of the NFL draft kicks off next week. So we're going to do a draft of, I think the way Liam's done it is players from the year 2000 to present, and then it's sort of like you've got to try and obviously you only get your picks, and then you might lose out on people you want. And so that'll be quite interesting. So we're recording that next week, so keep an eye out on that for next week's podcast. So yeah,
but Stephen, we've been dumped for that.
Aye.
Getting used to this though, mate. We're having to like interrogate other podcasts and that to try
right
get
enough.
some involvement.
we do, Stephen, you might as well do your wee plug as well for the MFC podcast.
Oh no, it was good. It was a good laugh. But then obviously it went out, and then 2 hours later we found out that Dundee's voted yes, and then it all changed again. So it's kind of pointless. But no, it was good fun.
Stephen was on the MFC podcast, the Motherwell podcast. So search for them. Episode, I think they're doing like 14 podcasts
14 episodes
over
in
14 days. Fuck that.
We can't do one in 14 days.
Stephen's on the premiere episode of that, so make sure you check that out. So I'll let you guys go. I know, Dave, you've got another Zoom date at 8 o'clock, so I'll let you go get organised for that. Stephen, you have a nice week without the kids, but obviously be busy at work. Everyone at home, keep safe. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. We'll be back next week.
Just let me know when you're going for your run, Gav, and I'll time it to meet you halfway up the street.
So we'll be a good sort of 8 meters away from each other at least.
Aye, of course. See you.
Right, enjoy your week, guys.
Catch you there.
Right.
I don't run.
See you.